What's up? What's up, everybody? Today, I got Boi What on the channel with me. I'm very excited to have him on here. This is a songwriter and producer that has over 18 million streams in the last like 5 to 6 months, really. A Billboard placement, radio play, and almost 500,000 monthly listeners across his platforms. He's worked with upcoming metalcore band creators like Casey Carlson of Deadlands, Jarus Johnson, as of like a couple days ago. And this artist that sits on the screen with me here today, he writes his own music using AI plugins from the cartoon show SpongeBob, and he makes his voice sound like these characters on the show. And it sounds like exactly what you would think of when they're singing the song, which is fucking awesome. In the last 6 months or so, you had Plan Z drop 4 months ago on YouTube. It's got like 800,000 views. Neon Tide's got 1.5 mil in a month. And also Just a Pineapple with 173 in 3 weeks. And they also dropped a song, like they, as in Jarus Johnson and Boi What over here, with Battling My Demons 4 days ago, which is doing very well for you guys right now. But it's also got, I don't know too much about Jarus Johnson that much, but I know he's got like 1.7 mil followers on TikTok and like 1.6 monthly listeners on Spotify, man. That's fucking crazy. What a journey so far.
Dude, yeah, bro. Just the Jarus thing alone is like really crazy to me because, well, first off, that intro's insane. Thank you for that.
I took some time to write it up.
I love it. I love it. If we could start there at the Jarus thing, because that's like, it was like a really organic thing. Honestly, bro, like, what's today? Today is Tuesday. We probably finished that like a week ago.
Oh, no way.
Maybe a little over a week ago. He sent it to me and was like, yo, like, I wasn't going to release this, but now I am. And I had commented on it and he's like, do you want to do it? I was like, yeah, I'm so down. And it was like a Thursday and I had to get it done by like the Sunday or something. And then we uploaded it and it was super quick, super organic. And I'm glad people like it. I was honestly very scared that people would be upset with him because of the AI in it.
Right.
Which is an interesting topic because a lot of bands now that incorporate any sort of AI, they get like slandered, you know, like just terribly like crucified. And I haven't experienced that. So I was worried for him, but people like the song. It's going really well and I'm super stoked on it.
That's dope. I know you, actually, I had like one of those kind of questions lined up for you too, because of the AI. And I'm not one to like slander or like say like AI is fucking stupid. Don't use it if you can't sing kind of thing. But like, I think it's meant for something that's in the right place. As in like for what you're doing. I mean, it kind of already sounds like AI in a way. So it kind of makes sense in that sense, if you will. But it's kind of funny that you were kind of worried about that as well. Like as being like an up and coming creator now, like, I mean, you've been doing this for 4 to 6 months at the least, probably a little bit even more, just what I've seen on you posting content and stuff like that. This is a lot. This is a lot of momentum in the time that you've only dropped like basically 3 or 4 songs. Yeah.
I started, let me see. It was July is when I dropped the first song, which was Just the Pineapple. And there was like no YouTube. Like I didn't post it on YouTube or anything. I just dropped it after. No, sorry. The first song was a song called Make a Wish, which anyone that knows me and like Boi What and is like comes into my live stream sometimes knows that I don't like that song for a lot of reasons. So I count Just the Pineapple as my first one because I posted it on TikTok the first day I made it and it went crazy. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So then I uploaded it. No, it was so bad, bro, because before that I had like nothing going on. And I was working with artists like Deadlands, like you mentioned, and stuff like that. I was working with artists, but nothing like personal going on. So when I did that and it blew up, I was scared, honestly. Like I just wasn't used to it. And posted it and it was like 1 million in the first week and I was like, oh, this is crazy. I don't know if I can even like do this again, so I'm just gonna like do whatever I want, right? That was the whole goal with the whole thing, is to do whatever I want. I was talking to a friend explaining this whole project, and I said it's like a Finsta. You know, like a Finsta is like a side Instagram that like people will have where it's not their real Instagram but just a spam one.
Oh, so kind of like a burner account, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was like in my mind it was like a Finsta artist project, music project.
Sorry, that's a new word for me, Finsta.
Yeah, some people will know.
Okay.
And that was the whole idea behind Boi What is I don't want to do anything that I don't want to do. And that sounds like stupid simple, but like people aren't really doing that. You know what I mean? Like people will make like the same style over and over again. So that first song was country, like Morgan Wallen. Then the second one and the third one were in a similar vein. And by that time I was over that sound. So I was like, I'm going to continue doing what I want to do. And that's when I released Plan Z.
No, that's awesome. And it's cool to kind of hear the history about that as well, like, especially coming into the new content creating world, or at least like in the musician world. That stuff can be scary, especially going with the AI approach. Nobody, I guess, like even back in my day, I feel like, I mean, I'm kind of old. So I'm like 34 years old. Do you mind if I ask you how old you are?
Yeah, I'm 27.
27. Okay, so you got some years in there. So like even like the MySpace days is like, you know, those electric kind of punk or metalcore days, like Attack, you know, a little bit of the auto tune. And I remember a lot of my friends be like, oh, this is stupid. They can't sing, blah, blah, blah. But like me, I personally like it. It's a form of art. I mean, if you have the tools to do it, do it. And if it sounds good, it sounds good. But like even that, like just to get the slander alone, maybe the hate on the auto tune, do you find that it's still kind of like happening with you? And if you are, like, what are you kind of doing to like either get through it or like cope with it? I feel like everybody's kind of different and like how they take it. So
I always liked Attack. I was always the kid who liked the weird stuff and the auto tune and everything, you know? So it's weird because this is it's outside of me almost, this whole project. And that sounds like the most like annoying artist thing to say, but it really does feel like it's not mine. And it felt like that since like day one. My friends would hit me up and be like, are you like not freaking out? And I would be scared, but in a way, like I was just watching it happen as if anyone else was watching it happen, because it's not my voice. I'm writing and singing it, but then the filter and everything. So it felt different than if it was my name. So any sort of like weird hate I got from it, it doesn't affect me at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter to me. I also just I'm not too worried about AI filters like destroying music at all, because there's other artists that are doing this, and there's a difference between a lot of the artists. Some people that are just starting out making music that like it's the same as if they were singing it. Like the difference in quality, you know, it still has to do with like how talented of a writer and everything that you are, because there's some people that are doing it really well, like Glorb in the rap scene. I don't know if you've heard of him.
He's doing like literally just found him last night and I have it at the bottom of this list. I'm like, because I wanted to ask you a little bit about that. So go on.
Yeah. So I mean, we can talk about that whole thing. Like I said right from the beginning that was the catalyst of me like doing this, because I would see his stuff coming up and I was like, this is really cool, but like,
what if it had a breakdown in it?
Literally, yes, that's exactly what it was. It was like, well, at first, because it was country, I was in that like a super songwriting mindset at that time, like just focused on the song, and I like country music. So I was like, what if someone was making like real songs with this? No offense to Glor, but it's like it's just rap, and like it's a different vibe than like sitting down and crafting a song. And that was the whole thing. And I've talked to Glor, I've spoken to him. We're cool.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. So it's definitely not like a scary thing to me that people would use these tools to like suddenly like get big or massive or make a ton of money. Like, I mean, although I would make a clickbait video being like, I use only AI to get on Billboard. Like, I think that would be kind of sick, but I'm not too worried about it or the hate on it.
Yeah, I think it can work both ways, to be honest. Like, as much as some people can hate, but like you said, like a lot of people are using it and they're using it in the right way. And something that's very catchy. It's very, I feel like I want to say like more comforting sometimes. Like, I guess like the pressure's off, especially on the artist like yourself. Like, you don't have to like hit these perfect notes when recording it. I feel like you can bang out maybe a little bit more content if you're on this writing trajectory of like just bang whatever you can out type deal. But I think it's really cool that you're kind of like embracing that in a way. I think it'd be really cool just to even have you do it without that as well, like kind of expose your voice in some spots. I think kind of would be cool as well. I don't know if you have tested that yet, but
so there's a couple plans in the works that's going to be weird for sure.
Is this plan Z?
yeah. Whatever is after Z, this is what it is. Ooh. And so to the point of like the AI, it does make it. I wouldn't say it makes it easier. I would in fact say it makes it more difficult, and I'll explain why. But one thing it does do is it makes it more inspiring. Mm. Because not only is there just like cartoon voices, but there's real voices of people that you like, for better or for worse. I'm not saying to release those, you know, like don't release like a Gerard Way like AI song, but you can put your song in there and listen to how like your favorite artist would sing it, and it's inspiring. Now you hear your song in a different light, but it does make it more difficult to craft and like make a song around the voice because the AI is not that good. Like it's good, but it's like you gotta like for the screams and stuff and the Plankton songs, I have to do it like 10 times each line to get the AI to just pump one out that sounds correct.
Oh shit.
And that happens with every line, like, and I have to change the way I sing some lines. Like it's very like it's longer of a process, but it's, you know, it just sounds sick, but it takes a while. It takes a while to like get it right.
That's very interesting. Like what really inspired you to, I guess, go the SpongeBob route for this? Like there's tons of different cartoons and stuff like that. Like what's your history or like, I guess, connection with SpongeBob to like really make you, I guess, make a career out of this in a way?
So I guess, yeah, it's weird to hear that and like say that, but it's kind of true. I mean, so people wonder if I'm like obsessed with SpongeBob, if I'm like this weird super fan, and like
behind him he actually has like statues of SpongeBob and posters.
Yeah,
right?
That's why this whole thing is on here, because I can't show you that. But it's not that I'm like obsessed, but I'm just as obsessed as like anyone is, because SpongeBob, I was talking to Jarus about this. SpongeBob is like no longer just a cartoon. It's just a facet of like at least American society, as I know, probably more, that like it's just ingrained in us. It's like it's like Mr. Brightside. Like everyone knows the words to it, even if they don't remember the first time they heard the song. Like you just know all the words. And it's the same way with SpongeBob. Like you can just say like a line from any episode and people will like understand what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like if I say I'm ugly and I'm proud, like we know what that's from. That's from SpongeBob. You know, like it's ingrained in us. And also they sing and like there's music involved with the show, so it just is the perfect cartoon to do it with. I think it has to be the most popular cartoon. I don't think there's a single more popular one, and there's so much lore with it that it just made sense to do that compared to other shows. I have people asking me like, would you do this show, would you do that show, but none of them make more sense in my mind than like SpongeBob. You know what I mean? If I were to do any show, it has to be that one.
That's crazy, because I had like another question for that, like just kind of spin off. Like if there was going to be another show, what would you kind of do? Like, I mean, like I guess there's like Family Guy, The Simpsons kind of thing that are like just really big, South Park and that, which I think some people have already kind of caught on to doing that kind of stuff. But I feel like if that's the case, like I know you might make like a little bit of a career out of this as well, but like are you afraid of it like phasing out or getting too old?
I definitely think it will phase out. I 100% think it will phase out. I think it'll phase out every time I release a song. I think that's the last one that people will care about. I released Plan Z and I was like, I released Plan Z thinking like my time is up, so I'm gonna have fun now. Like that was
really?
Because I had done 3 before then and they were country, and Plan Z was my whatever. Like the last song before Plan Z hadn't done as well as the first two, so I was like, now it's just time to like fuck around and like find out what happens. So I know it'll phase out the SpongeBob thing, but it leads into this other point where this whole thing that I have going on with the SpongeBob arc, I guess, or like the story, is that there is like this deeper story that hasn't been dug into yet with the songs, and this whole thing that I'm doing and the story that I'm creating is outside of SpongeBob, but it hasn't been shown yet. I would say that in the album, I guess you could say that it's the start of just like a bigger concept album that, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but you'll understand, I promise. There's more to it than just SpongeBob. There's an arc about, you can see it kind of already, the dangers of AI, which we can talk about. I'm fully down to talk about that. Technology addiction, and just there's more human element in it, a lot more human element in it that I think will make sense the more these songs start to come out. There's a whole, like, I've created like this whole like opera story in my head that we're still kind of just in the first act of like the introduction. So I'm excited for people to see this. And then if I ever did phase out of just SpongeBob or shows, it won't be weird because it'll make total sense because of this story. And I started this like idea of this story at Plan Z, and I like, there was a moment where like I decided like this is what this is going to be about, and it's not just going to be about SpongeBob. It's deeper than that. So people will see.
When you say deeper, is it like more of like kind of what's going on in your life and like what you've experienced, or? And I only say that because like I read the top comment on Neon Tide, the video there, Jukebox Jimmy 8722. He says that a fun fact of you when you were streaming, there was like behind the scenes thing, and you mentioned that the song is mostly about his own feelings towards the kinds of AI, and even mentions the clap 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 bit that represents how people celebrate this stuff without acknowledging the potential negative repercussions. So I kind of feel like that kind of wraps in what you're kind of obviously saying and what's going on in this world and stuff like that. I think you have a really cool concept, by the way. But
thank you, bro. It's that song was the first like real introduction to the story that I'm talking about. And that song is 100% about the dangers of AI. And I know it sounds crazy because I'm like using this fully, like just to like, I'm using this more than most people are, but you can't be afraid of something if you don't know how it works, basically. And like, not that I'm afraid of the filter, not that I understand how AI works, but you have to like dive into it to like talk about it.
Yeah.
And the clap clap part was, this was when I was in LA for a couple months, and someone had shown me this video. It was right after Plan Z had come out. Someone had shown me this video of a Meta conference or something, and there was an audience, and they were like, these are these new Meta glasses that can like tell you exactly what you're seeing and like tell you like where you are and like all this stuff, and people just clapped, like they were like, yes, da da da.
True.
And I was like, I don't see a good end with AI at all. Like I don't, what's the end goal? The end goal is not one that benefits us. It hardly benefits us now. So that's what that's about. It's like, it's the clap 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 so you can't take it back. It's like everyone's really applauding this and loving it, but once
it's done, like you're stuck with it, and then you're just living with life as it is. There, are you like a conspiracy theorist kind of guy?
Not to like the moon landing is fake extent.
Okay.
But I definitely don't think that like we have people looking out for us. I don't think that like we're in everyone's best interest. So maybe a little bit. But
okay. Yeah.
Not to a crazy extent. I'm not as crazy as like this project might make me seem I am.
So the Earth is actually round, is what you're saying.
Well,
I'm just joking when I say this.
I
love joking around with people because I feel like people just get so triggered about that when I joke around hard. Where I'm like, yo, the Earth is fucking flat, bro. Like, what are you talking? And they get so triggered about it. But it's like, when you see the stuff that's coming out with AI and everything that's going on, it's like, yeah, this could be very dangerous for us, but like there are people that are doing like really good with it in a way as well. Like Elon Musk even says like this shit's gonna fucking take over our lives and basically kill humanity.
Yeah. And that's the scary part, is that it's outside of us. Like if you had told like Bill Gates, who was creating the first computer, I think that's who did it, right? Bill Gates? I don't know.
I think so.
Right? I don't know.
I don't know.
If you told him like what the internet would be as of right now, and like just the harm that it's caused that we're aware of, but we don't care about, just like the social anxiety of like having to talk to people face to face, that like kids today are just not getting as much as they used to. You know, it's just like a different world now, for better or for worse. If you told him that then, he probably would be like, okay, you know, and just showed him proof. Like, we probably should like scrap this project. And it just shows that it's outside of us, because we really can't see past our nose. Like, it's okay now, and it always stays okay until it's not. So there's people like Elon Musk that are like letting us know this, you know, like, and he's at the forefront of it, which is comforting in a way, but it's still outside of us and outside of our control.
He's telling us about this, but he still wants to put a chip in our brain too.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So that's really what this is all about. It's
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. Okay, so going back on the SpongeBob thing, I kind of had a question on this. Like, have you ever had like any reach it, I guess, from like, is it Nickelodeon that kind of owns it? Like, has there been like any like threats of like lawsuits or anything of like using the images or whatever? Or is there ways around that? There's a little giggle.
I mean, so I was super worried about it at first.
Mm-hmm.
To an extent, I was worried about it. I haven't gotten anything. I don't know if Glorb or anyone has gotten anything like that, but I did hear that like, I can't trust how like real this is, but I heard that they are pretty cool with it. Oh. Like they know about it. They have to know about it. You know what I mean? Like just from everyone doing it, just the TikTok covers alone, like they're aware, you know, and they have to be cool with it, because they have not mentioned it or gone after anyone. And some people are like doing it like in a way where it can make SpongeBob like look bad. You know what I mean? Like kind of just like a lot of like swearing and like super adult themes that like should, you know, because they're probably still coming up on kids' For You page. Like TikTok sees SpongeBob and the algorithm just sends it to like 8-year-olds, and it's like SpongeBob saying vulgar stuff, but they don't seem to care. And then also if they did, like it's if anything, it's parody, you know? If they could get anyone on anything, it would be the AI. But at the same time, there's like it's such a gray area right now that what's the law? You know what I mean? Like the problem with it is you could say that you're using the AI of the voice actor. But if you do an impression, that's totally allowed. That's under fair use and parody. But then who's to say that the AI that we're using isn't an AI of an impressionist? And then how do you prove whether it is or not?
Yeah, I feel like that's why, like, I don't know too much about it, but I feel like that's where like blockchain is basically going to come into, of like owning your voice and everything, because you see this stuff happen all the time. You see like the Joe Rogan things, first off, like even in the music world right now. I think I saw Our Last Night use it, and they were kind of joking around with it, and they were just saying like, talking as if it was Joe Rogan with the AI and saying like, yeah, Our Last Night is like, you know, the best band right now and blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of the video, it just shows him with his phone in the microphone, like talking as Joe Rogan. Yeah, and I'm like, this is fucking crazy. But like a lot of the people will be like, believing in that stuff when it comes up in their feeds. It's nuts. So like
Dude,
it's crazy. Go ahead.
I saw an ad that someone had done. It was for some product or something, and the dude put himself in a fake Joe Rogan podcast.
Nice.
Like,
That's something I would do.
He spliced himself in front of a green screen with the red like background and was like talking to Joe Rogan, but you can hear it though. Joe Rogan's like, it just sounds weird.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't sound like himself. So that's also like one of the dangers that like I'm like, I see, like, just you can just, and the Joe Rogan's moving his mouth to the words and it looks real. Like,
Yeah.
It's definitely very scary, but right now we're in like the goofy phase.
True.
Where it's not fully believable yet, so we can still laugh about it. But that moment where a video comes out and someone has to defend themselves and be like, "That wasn't me," and no one believes them, like it's gonna get serious.
For sure. We're like in the paint form before it becomes like Photoshop right now.
No, literally, exactly, bro.
That's insane. That's crazy. Yeah, I'll kind of lean off of those questions. I think it's really cool though, and definitely very awareing in that sense. But it's kind of cool that you're using the AI to your advantage to still talk about that thing and like kind of like just make awareness to it. I feel whether or not like people are kind of like paying attention to the lyrics in that sense. I just think that's a really cool concept. But going into the SpongeBob stuff, I know I feel like this is going to be like a huge theme of this. But
I mean, obviously,
yeah. But what is your favorite SpongeBob episode or character that particularly inspires your music? What is like your most go-to or like favorite?
So I would say this is such a generic, it's not really a generic answer, but it's definitely the movie, right? The movie,
okay.
like I know that's like not an episode, but the movie, because it's really like it's just such a good story, and just about like getting older and like dealing with life and like the trials that you face and like just getting over them, like just getting like past yourself and like getting out of your own way is really what like the whole movie is about. And favorite character, like I would have to say Plankton, you know?
I kind of figured, but I wasn't too sure because like you started off with like SpongeBob and you have Patrick and stuff like that, so I just kind of wanted to figure that out.
It's definitely Plankton because he's like, I don't know, I guess my story that I've created for this whole thing kind of like says a little bit more about it, but he's just someone that is doing harm and bad, but he thinks he's doing good.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? He really does think he's doing good. Like he sees crabs as like this like greedy like capitalist, like just feeding these people like bad for them food and like charging them insane prices, not paying his workers, and he's like, I need to take this down and like do something about it. And so it's definitely Plankton. He's definitely the most like, he's got the most to him, I would say.
For sure. Maybe a little bit on the aggression side too, which kind of goes hand in hand with the metalcore kind of like breakdowny heavy drop themes, which is kind of cool as well. Yeah, I've never seen the movie before, but
the movie is really good. It's just about like SpongeBob and Patrick have to like save
Bikini
Mr.
Bottom.
Krabs, and they have to like Bikini Bottom too, but they're really doing it for Mr. Krabs because by the time they left they didn't know Bikini Bottom was in like shambles. But it's just they have to like deal with their fears. That's really what the whole movie's about.
That's sick. I might have to watch that like this weekend. Just after doing this, I have to. My wife is actually like, she loves SpongeBob. Like I get her like SpongeBob stuff for Christmas and stuff like that. She's got like this wicked like deathcore SpongeBob shirt, and it's just really fucking cool. But I'll definitely have to check that one out as well. Are there any like other aspects of SpongeBob that you like want to explore going into your music?
So a lot of people ask me for like the different characters and stuff. And I've really avoided it on like live streams and stuff. I just say like, I don't really like want to do their voice, or it doesn't work that well. But this is the first time I'm talking about it at all. It's just, there's a story that I'm creating. So it's not off the cuff, really. Like, it's not like, oh, now I'm gonna make like
Sandy
a Patrick
come in or
one.
something.
Right. Like, I'm not just gonna do something for the sake of doing it. At this point now, and so there is a story involved, and it's still gonna be SpongeBob related. But like I said, I'm not just like hitting random parts, and I'm not like describing episodes and stuff like that. There's like a deeper thing involved, and I'm trying to keep it like pretty consistent. So it's definitely going to be, there's definitely going to be more and different things going on, but it'll all like fit together and make sense for sure.
Hell yeah, dude. That's fucking sick. What other cartoon shows do you watch, or TV shows? Like, go ahead.
I kind of like fell off of TV, right? Because like,
yeah,
I don't know if you have cable, but I don't have cable anymore.
No, it's all Netflix and shit.
Right,
YouTube.
Right. YouTube took over my life, basically. If you ask me like, what are you watching on YouTube? But with TV shows, like, if I do watch anything, it's just stuff that I like grew up on. Like, it'll be like
interesting
South Park or like Family Guy, like a lot of the basic shows and stuff like that. I'll check out a Netflix series every once in a while that I find interesting. A lot of it's YouTube though.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is like pro wrestling. And that's really all I like am into.
That's not bad. That's cool, actually. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a big wrestler at all, so I mean, I know like the basics and Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, like those were like my kind of days on that. But
oh, me too. But I got back into it, and I was like, you know, like it's I want to watch something, but I'm not. A lot of the shows nowadays are like limited series, and like you can watch them for like a couple days and they're gone forever, or you gotta wait a year. But with wrestling, it's like it's on every week. You can watch a pay-per-view a month. Like it's a consistent story. Just keep watching, and that's really what it is. Like I'm just like super into stories. So
have you ever seen the Hulk Hogan one? I think there was like a Netflix series on Hulk Hogan and like his life or something like that. I believe so. I gotta check that out. I think I remember watching it. It might have been like a while ago. I can't even remember, but I just remember I'm like, yeah, what kind of like shows was that? And like then that's kind of what came to my mind for that. That's cool.
Yeah, I watch a lot of like documentaries as well. I watch a lot of wrestling documentaries, but just like documentaries in general. I like learning a lot, which not in like the sense of like learning about like just math or something, like not learning like that, but just like learning new stuff about the things I'm interested in, whether it be like music or the AI stuff or anything. Like I'll just watch YouTube videos about that, and that's really what I'm watching.
So let's jump into the future project kind of stuff. Obviously you worked with Jarus Johnson here. How did that come about? Let's dive into that a little bit.
So we could talk about like the first time I had like seen him, even like in the music ethos. My friend had shown me him, and he had done like I think it was the Bring Me the Horizon collab that he had done, and I was just like, this is crazy.
Like
and
he
then
actually did something with Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah, and then
this I didn't
he had
know.
like done this like reimagined version of Can You Feel My Heart that they released, and then he had done a reimagined version of Last Resort by Papa Roach that they released, and like they got that song went #1 again. Like Last Resort, I'm pretty sure it did. Don't quote me on that, but it did really well, and they had a whole music video together and stuff. So I was like, this dude's like doing some really crazy stuff. And then he had Chad Kroeger on a song, like on one of his songs. So I was like, this dude's like crazy, and I've been following him ever since. And then he like went through label trouble and stuff, and I was like keeping up to date with like his like story. And then with this song specifically, he had posted a video, and I love this kind of stuff, and people do not love this kind of stuff, but he had posted a video, and it was like, I just made this song in 5 minutes, and it sounds like every one of your favorite metal bands. And he was basically just like talking about how generic and kind of bland that the metal scene has become. And the metal scene does this every like 5 years, right? They like they do something that's super innovative, like Attack Auto-Tune with breakdowns, crabcore, and then they run it into the ground. So it was like 2008 Attack does that. By 2012, that was like the most annoying thing ever. But at one time it was really cool. And then time went on, it turned into the Architect sound, where like the old school Architect sound with like the low tuned guitars, like that kind of stuff. And it was super cool until everyone started doing it. And then it just got ran into the ground. And then Bring Me released like, I guess you could say it was That's the Spirit, where every band wanted to do the Bring Me sound, right? And even Bring Me got sick of it and they changed that up. But the metal scene does this. And I guess that's what he was making. The point he was making is that he just wants the genre to be more interesting and more creative. And I feel the same way. I mean, there's a big reason why, that's a big reason why I'm like being so weird. Is like, I want to show that you can do whatever you want. And he posted that. People did not like it. They were mad. And but a lot of the comments were like, this is better than your whole catalog, which is like a weird thing to say because it's like a super compliment as well as like a super diss. You're like, because he still made it, you know? He's like, this is better than anything you've made. And they're saying it in a mean way, but he still made it. Like, yeah. So I commented on it and I was like, what do you mean by that? Because it was basically like Plan Z. You know what I mean? Like it was like like Plan Z in my mind is like the generic metalcore song. And not in a bad way, but it's still just like very formulaic. And I was like, what do you mean by that? He's like, I'm looking at you, Plankton. I commented like, bucket helmet for you, check mark or something like that. And then he DMs me and was like, do you want to do this song with me? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, I know. So he had sent me the stems and we had a long phone call just talking about the scene and like this song and everything. And we just got to it. And like I said, it was from like Saturday. No, it was from like a Thursday or something to like that Saturday that I had to do it because we wanted to just get it out quick. And we did that. And I immediately just got started to like posting my regular, I don't know how to explain it, my like regular type of style video that I do where it's like very trippy lyric video.
Yeah.
And people liked it. People really enjoyed it. And it's my fastest growing song so far, which I'm very surprised about and also very stoked about. It was like 100,000 in the first day, which is so crazy to me. It's so crazy. And people are still enjoying it. And I'm stoked. And I'm stoked he didn't get absolutely murdered for that one online.
Yeah, no, it's doing really good. I enjoy it. I thought it was really good. And like, that was the first time I've really heard Jarus as well. So, I mean, like, I love the soft kind of like rock kind of sound, but like it still has that heaviness to it. I would say like more of like a heavy rock song, but like you guys have fun with it. And it almost had like a little bit of an element of like System of a Down with the kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like it obviously hits like a nostalgic part. And I think that'd be really cool as well, even if you started incorporating that, but like still doing your own version of that, kind of bringing the nostalgic stuff back, but in that way. So it's like almost like, I guess, like sample core. I don't know if you've heard of the John Candy guy.
I haven't.
Oh, he does like sample core. And there's this one video, I did a reaction to it. And like it goes from like Paramore to like the Killers to Green Day. And it turns into this massive like breakdown. And
that sounds amazing.
Yeah, dude, it was so sick, but like it just hits that nostalgic part for like people like myself that it's like born in the 80s and 90s where it's like, oh shit, this slaps, where it's just kind of like reinvented in a way, but it, like in a sound that's like in today, which I thought is really cool to have in that sense. So
100%. I like the nostalgic thing for me is super important. Especially like the next song, people will like definitely see that. Like my shirt is a good indicator of like kind of what's going on. And one thing that I feel like is missing that the scene had 15 years ago or more, like 2004, 6, 8, like that era, is like, once again, it's just story. And when it comes to music, I feel like you need 80% familiar and 20% new. You can't do all new, otherwise people will just, what is this? So like if I came out with a song that's 100% stuff no one's heard before, people would be like, it would just sound like noise, like it just like beeps and boops and stuff like that. But you need that familiarity. And when I look back at when the scene, not even just the metal scene, just like the emo whatever scene, is like American Idiot and the Black Parade, those were the last big rock albums. I don't know of another album since then that has been as big or like explosive, and no one has even like attempted to recreate that. And I'm not saying in like sound or ripping them off, I'm just saying like each of those albums is like a movie in an album. You know, like American Idiot was turned into a Broadway play.
Dude, I've been to the Broadway play. Like,
have you?
Yeah, I've actually seen it. Like, I went to like one of the things in Toronto. Like, they made like a dance musical kind of thing out of it. It was fucking sick. I remember going to that. Yeah,
that's amazing. I was gonna go on Broadway, but it fell through or something. I didn't end up going. This was a long time ago. This is like 2012 or something like that.
Oh, it was a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really what the scene I feel like needs. Like, there's no storytelling. Even if you look back to like Pink Floyd, The Wall, or like Sgt. Pepper's by the Beatles, like these albums were explosive and still remembered, not because of the songs were good, but it's not because of the songs. It's because there was like this crazy story involved with each one of them. Like Sgt. Pepper's was like the story of this band that became another band completely and just changed themselves. And same with, I mean, my camp ripped that off completely in the best way. And like they became a new band, which was the Black Parade, and told their own story. And that's what people remember. Like if you meet someone for the first time, you might not, and they tell you like their life story, like you might not remember their name, but you'll remember like the story that they told you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem with a lot of like metal nowadays, and just like the scene in general. It's just, it needs a little bit more like just art, like direction in these things that they're saying. And if I'm bringing anything nostalgic back, I guess that's what I want to do.
I think it's definitely the way to go, especially just because of what we talked about. And yeah, it's really cool. Like, I think I've only found like one band, to be honest. I can't remember the name of the band. I only heard one song from them, and I don't know if they even sound like this on their other stuff, but they like had this huge Mod Chem sound. Like, you sound like Gerard Way of like back in the Three Cheers kind of vibes. I'm like, holy shit. Like the way he's screaming, the melodies, I'm like, I want more of this. Like, I just feel like,
yeah,
just because like that's just kind of like more my nostalgic kind of familiarity of where to go in that sense when it comes to music. But it's really cool because like I didn't really grow up on like Killswitch Engage or Bullet for My Valentine kind of thing. So like I was more of the emo punk rock kind of phase, Blink-182 and stuff. So that's why some of the MGK stuff that he came out with, I thought it was really cool because it was bringing back that nostalgic vibe. So I thought that was, the fuck is my cat doing? Fucking interesting. Just like fucking ripping someone apart. Yeah, it's just I just think it's really cool to like have that when it comes back. I don't, whether you call it like ripping off or like just bringing it back or reinventing. I just think we still kind of need that, especially I don't know if it's just like a generation thing where it's like we want that, and a lot of us kind of complain, you know, like bring back deathcore, Bring With the Horizon, or like you know, old Architects kind of thing. But like they're still kind of bringing that stuff kind of back and familiarizing their fans and bringing them back in, I think, which is really cool and smart in a I guess marketing aspect as a way, like you said, maybe do 80%. What did you say? Like 80% new kind of thing, or 20 familiar or something like that?
80% familiar, 20% new.
Yeah. So like it kind of eases them in a way to like more of their new stuff. So when you see bands do like a complete 180, like as much as I love Dayseeker, I love their last album after a few listens because of what the story is about and stuff like that. But I listened to the old Dayseeker where it was heavy and the screams and stuff. And like when I heard that last album, I'm like, where's the breakdowns? Like it was just like, but their singles kind of had that. But I mean, I love them. I love Rory. I love what they're doing. And that's the thing. It's like I want almost that kind of stuff back. So I think that's definitely like a key point for people even making music. It's just use that 80 familiar and then 20 on your newest stuff to kind of help you shine through. I feel like even with TikTok, the way that even I do my content, it's a lot of the breakdown, but it's like a lot of the new stuff that kind of wows people. Be like, oh shit, fucking Architects did that. Okay. Like, and then they, kind of dive back into them type deal. So it's neat.
I think that's an issue that a lot of bands struggle with is when they change their sound. We could talk about scene grief all day. I don't want to do too much because I don't want to like sound like I'm like pompous or something. But a lot of bands, the problem is, I wrote a song about this that I showed on live stream, but it was for Boi What, but like it was too meta and weird. But it was just about like bands that totally turn on like the sound that they've created for a more radio friendly sound or something like that. But the problem is that they don't know how to do that. So they make these like half-baked like pop metal songs that just aren't as good as Bring Me or Bad Omens or someone that's actually doing it. So they had something special and they totally did a 180 to the point where their hardcore fans are like, what is this? I do not like this. And it's not even like that good because that's not what they do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Bad Omens writes pop songs. Like you can tell that's what they're doing and that's why it works so well. But some of these other bands, like you guys like totally screwed yourselves. Why'd you do this?
That's kind of like I think Siren Cities and Sirens or whatever the band is called. I feel like they're kind of like on that trajectory. I've heard a podcast with the guitarist on there with Emo's Not Dead, and I remember him saying like just kind of like how they kind of switch your sound a little bit more of that rock sound, which is cool. I feel like Pierce Veil's kind of on that route as well. But yeah, like you said, like it's just having those little smidgets to kind of ease your fans into it. I feel like they can definitely accept it a little bit more and a little bit easier to keep those older fans and get used to that sound. I mean, like for me as a reactor, I kind of take everything in. I understand. And sometimes it probably does. But when it comes to like Bad Omens, for me, I like Bad Omens. Don't get me wrong. I love the melodies and stuff and their new stuff. But the first song that I heard from Bad Omens was Dethrone. And then when the next kind of song came out, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like this isn't that. Okay, so okay, cool. They did a soft song. Cool. Let's see what else they do. And the next song is like, oh, okay. Am I listening to the right band? And then I went back on their discography. And then they sounded like basically Sepaternal 2.0. Like it was just like that. And then it's kind of cool listening to Bring Me the Horizon on what's their fucking new song? Kool-Aid. Yeah. And like in their chorus now, they sound like Bad Omens. And it's like, what the fuck is going on here?
I know. It is a weird floppy world. And I mean, like my favorite song by Bad Omens is Artificial Suicide, but
that's a good one too, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was like their 3 out heavy song kind of thing. So that's kind of what got me back into him.
Yeah. And even like that song to me is a pop song just with screaming on it. Like the structure of it and like just everything. It's a very heavy pop song.
And I get it now. Like, and it helps with these articles that come out as well. Cause I believe like Livewire or something came out with an article of Noah saying something about like the heavy scene or something like that. It's just not what it used to be. Or like, I can't remember. Don't call me on it. But like, it sounded like he was kind of pissed about it type deal. And then moved on to like more bigger and better things. And I get it. These things kind of sell out like they had a whole like tour last year of like, and it fucking sold out every show. Yeah. So it's crazy how much they've blown, and I get that. But I mean, if they really want to write that stuff, then great. But like they have the fan base for it. It blows up on TikTok a lot as well. So like, I feel like it worked in their favor for sure. But like, again, like you still, if you go to the show, I've never been to one yet, but like I see some of these TikTok clips where it's like Noah's still screaming. He's fucking better than ever type deal. Like, it's way more cooler in live, and it's the emotion and that they bring into their shows for sure. So like, I feel like there's, as much as we want to say like, yeah, bring the 80-20 rule kind of vibe in there, but like at the same time, like they're still kind of doing it right. It's weird. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that familiarity rule doesn't even have to apply to like what you've done. It can just apply to what people know. You know, like that's what Plan Z was to me. That was like 90. The only 10% was just like plankton. You know,
what was your inspiration on that then? Like, what was just
the flagship bands like Bring Me, Falling in Reverse, Bad Omens. Like in the comments, you can see that people are like,
that chorus
Bring Me
is
the
like,
formula.
Yeah, I kind of recognize that a little bit of the Falling in Reverse in there too. I'm like, the melody's almost the same in this.
Right. It's like that's what it is that you can do as well, and you can pulling from things that people naturally know and feel and can connect with. Like when you meet someone for the first time and you like have something in common, you immediately feel more connected to that person. So you can do the same thing with music. You take something that people know and love and turn it into your own way, and they'll feel comfortable with you or feel familiar, or like they get that connection much easier.
It's almost like a hug in your ears kind of thing. It's like that, just a warm, welcoming hug.
Exactly.
That's cool. So you also like you did some stuff with Deadlands over there, or I don't know if it was like more Casey Carlson at all, or like I know you did House of Cards. You did the production on that and stuff. So tell us the story how that kind of went.
So this was all before Boi What. The guitarist CJ, I don't want to like blow his spot up too much, but he was working at his job. I don't know if he's like said where he works, so I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
But I went in there to just browse, and I was with a friend that knew him, and he come up, and I was wearing like this like Gucci bag or something, and he's like, "Bro, I like your bag." I was like, "Thanks, bro." So we kind of became friends at that point. He was showing, bro, he brought out, he's gonna love this. He brought out his laptop from the back and was like, "Check out this song that I'm working on," and like showed me like some like sick demo that he was working on at his job, and we had never met before. I was like, "This is sick." He didn't even know that I made music at the time, and we were just talking about music, and followed each other on socials, and I started to see Deadlands. I started to see Casey, and I didn't connect the two. I didn't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's very separated when they were doing the whole TikTok thing versus the band thing.
Yeah, I didn't know at first. So I was like, I just randomly saw CJ post about Deadlands. I was like, whoa, okay. And I hit him up, and I was like, bro, like, we should work together, please. Like, you know what I mean? I was like asking him, and like he was down. Because I still think that they can be like a flagship band, like we were talking about. We're in the process of just like making new stuff now, and it's weird because there's like the crossover of like me working with Deadlands and then Boi What like happening at the same time in between House of Cards and the stuff I did with Boi What. We've written a bunch of songs, and the stuff that we're doing now is like really kind of crazy. And they were just one of those bands that like I don't normally work with a ton of people. I am more so honestly. I am more so now, but I don't work with a ton of people unless I feel like they're like really sick. You know what I mean? Like they got to be like really like cool, and I feel like they have something special. And this new stuff that Deadlands is going to be coming out with is like, I think it's crazy. I don't know. It's crazy in like both the sense of crazy and like really like, whoa, this is cool.
I'm excited for that. Yeah, because I did an interview with Casey as well, and I'm like, she kind of like she mentioned that was the first time I was like, holy shit, like I didn't realize that you produced and did some stuff on that as well. And she said like you guys are kind of working together too on some new stuff. So like, are you helping with them with songwriting at all, or?
Yeah, like they're based out of Long Island, so I have that's where I was when I met him. Like I have friends in Long Island, so I'm there decently often. And when I'm there, like I'll go to CJ's house, and Kyle, their drummer, and Casey will come over sometimes, and we'll just write all in the same room, and we'll produce it in there. And it's a cool way of doing it, because sometimes we'll do it over the internet. He'll send me a riff, we'll get on Zoom and do it. It's a little slow just because I'm not there, but like what we have made is crazy, and I'm like super stoked for people to hear it. I really am.
So how did you feel with Deadlands when it kind of went like fucking bonkers?
Well, dude, well, I'd seen your reaction. I think I'd seen you before, but that was like the first time I was like, let me like follow this guy, and like, because like it was like a super like cool thing, because Deadlands isn't like the biggest band ever, but like your video on them did really well, and like I love the reaction scene. I guess that's what we can talk about, because I love the reaction scene. Like even before Boi What, I would just like, if I heard a song that I really liked, it just came out, I would like watch reaction videos. I don't know why. I can speculate why, but like it's just so nice. It's like so refreshing to have like a positive voice in the scene, which is how I look at all the reaction videos. Because even if you guys don't like a song or something, like you'll still like say that you appreciate the song, and like you're not gonna like shit on it or anything. Yeah. And that's all Twitter is. Even if it's like, dude, Queen could release Bohemian Rhapsody like now, like they'd never released it before, and Twitter would just like shit on it. Like, what is this? This is bad, whatever, da, da, da. It doesn't matter how good anything is. So the reaction scene is such a good thing for the scene. So when I had seen like the reactions of Deadlands, I was like, okay, like I knew I was right that they're like special and people will like them. Like now, how can we like take this like even like further and like push it more and like really show that they can be like the best band in the scene.
That's really cool. And it's neat to hear like another perspective. I know I don't really talk to people about reactions and stuff. I feel maybe I'm just a little like too like more about the person on the screen more than I am myself. And it's just neat to hear other people's perspective, especially like when it comes to the music scene. So yeah, that video went nuts. I think I posted 2 videos. I think the first one got like 4.5 million or something like that. It's probably still going. It's probably up to 5. And like even the second one, I think it had like 2 mil. And then Casey reposted it with her duetting it after like a month. And then it took off again. And it's like, it's crazy how social media can actually blow up that stuff. But I thought it was really cool to hear your aspect of it, because like you put your, you know, your fingerprints are on that kind of thing. And just to see something that you had potential in, because I feel like that's the same way with myself as well. When I see bands that have a lot of potential, it's another reason why I have you on here as well. Like things are obviously blowing up, but like I haven't seen a fucking interview with you yet. And I'm like, why hasn't anybody picked this guy up to talk to him about what the fuck's going on? This guy is getting like, he's released like 3 or 4 songs and it's going fucking wild. So like, I just think it's cool to hear your aspect of it, and it might help other people as well. So whether or not you're doing reactions or, you know, a song kind of blows up because, you know, someone relates to it in a way, it's like, it's just really cool to see someone with, I guess, like the art form mindset and how it's happened. Because like when I see Deadlands or Face Yourself and other bands that have blown up all over here, like it feels really good in a way, because I'm like, I almost feel like I have like a record label mindset of like, that's the band that's gonna fucking do something. So when I put my name on it type deal and speak very highly of it and tell people to fucking like check it out, it means a lot. So it's really cool to see you in that mindset as well, and working with bands that you see that have that special kind of form and something that you can relate to and have a good time with. Obviously we don't want to work with people that fucking suck, but
right. I mean, that's why like I'm doing this right now. It's like I've like been asked to do podcasts or do interviews or something, but just like the Jarus Johnson thing and just like the Deadlands thing, like luckily now I'm in a spot where it's coming to me more, but I've always wanted to work with people that like I like, you know what I mean? That like I feel something towards, and like I love your videos. Like I
Thank
watch like all the anytime like you do a reaction of a song that like I've heard about, or even if like just a little bit, like I'll check it out. And there's a lot of reasons, I guess. One of the main reasons is just like I like to see like what parts make people open their eyes, like whoa, like kind of like really get into it, because there's a lot to be learned with that. And that's kind of the mindset I've had for a while now, is when I'm making music, I picture like me at 12 years old, like super like ADHD riddled kid. Like, how do I make a song for him where he doesn't check his phone once? You know what I mean? Like, you ever like show someone like a new song you have like heard, and like you're like, oh, this is the best song ever, and then like 40 seconds into the song they're like on their phone. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do I avoid that?
I kind of do that as well. Like some of my like videos that I make, like sometimes I'll spend some time really fucking editing, especially when it's a good song. And there's tricks and stuff, obviously, when it comes to posting stuff online and doing all that stuff. So like when I'm like editing and that, like I try to do my best of like where that hook is, where that spot is, where people are just gonna like just be glued to the screen. And I think that's very important, but like it also helps get that song out there as well. But sometimes like I'll finish up an edit and I'll call the wife over. I'm like, hey, watch this for a second. I'll watch her reaction more than anything. And it's like, like if she's heard the song kind of thing, like, cause I'm editing it, sometimes I'll have the speakers or headphones really loud and she'll hear it and she'll kind of like be into it. I'm like, hey, what do you think of this reaction? And then things are moving and stuff and that. And like, I see her like right into it. She's like, I really like that. So I'm like, cool. This is going to hit like a good 100,000 plus type deal. It might take off kind of thing. So like, I like that mindset. And I think creators need to be a little bit more on that. As much as like, I hate to say it, our attention spans fucking suck. But it's like, get creative. Like I'm seeing bands do some really cool things. There's another band that's kind of local for us as well, here in Canada or in Toronto. I think it's As the Structures Fails. And they make like skits and stuff around their own fucking shit. And it gets people into like their music. And I'm like, you have to do this stuff. And I've seen some other creators just kind of like giving hints and stuff to other band members. It's like, don't just be the artist that like sits there hoping somebody listens to it, or like reposting the same post over and over and again, which I have seen, and sometimes it does work, but it's like, get creative with it. And I feel like even just having reactions just helps kind of blow that stuff up. Like I'm sure you've seen it as well with like Nick, and like every other metal reactor like picked up on it, was like, holy shit, this is fucking sick. And
that's like it's like we have Mr. Beast to blame, in my opinion, with like the attention span thing, but also we can learn a lot from him. Like, I am lucky that I have such a terrible attention span, because now I have to try to like please myself with anything that I'm creating, whether it be the music or just like the TikToks of it. Like I have to find a way to keep myself entertained, which is why in my songs, like every measure something new happens, or there's some pause or something crazy going on, because like that's the thing that artists have to focus on, is like keeping people's attention. And I remember I was having a conversation with an artist I was working with, and they were like, I wish it was like we were talking about the Beatles, and he was like, it was so like they didn't have to do like TikTok and all this stuff back then. Just, and I was like,
that hairdo.
Yeah, exactly. And I said to him, I was just like, bro, like that's your price to pay because of how easy it is to make music now. Like back then, like, can you still hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Back then you had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. Can you still hear me?
Yeah. Buddy's getting excited.
You had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to record an album, and then you had to record it for weeks on end, and you had to record it to tape. You couldn't mess up. There's no tune. I was like, this is your price to pay for how easy it is to do your job. So yes, you have to make content now. That's just it. That's just the world we live in. Like, you have to put the work in. Like, the workload is the same. It's just been placed elsewhere. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I totally agree with you in a lot of sense for sure. And I see it as well. Like bands kind of like wonder why like things aren't blowing up and stuff like that. And I kind of wonder why as well. Like I kid you not, last night I was scrolling through, TikTok and all my analytics just to see like why are people falling off at this amount of time. It's like I get into like the 15-minute mark or 15-second mark and like people fall off from like, 50 to like 20% in like 2 seconds. So it's like you go back, you look at your content and stuff like that. I think people are like underestimating what those kind of analytics are as well. Not saying like a lot of these bands suck. Honestly, there's a lot of big bands or not big bands, a lot of smaller bands that I think will pop off and shit just doesn't happen. So now I think it's like, is it my content? Is it when I post? Is it, the algorithm, what I put in the title and stuff like that? It's a very vicious cycle when it comes to that stuff, and it sucks ass.
Dude, the algorithm on TikTok specifically is such like an abusive relationship.
It is.
Like they will just snatch your views out of nowhere. Bro, I don't know if this happens to you, but if I have a week where my views are insanely down, I'll suddenly get a notification asking me to like telling me I have this promotion coupon.
Yeah.
Dude, it's clockwork. I'll post a video and it won't do well at all. Like it just won't reach anyone. And then that day, you try promoting it. And like I never will promote it because then they'll know I'll do it and they'll keep doing it to me. But
I'm so glad you brought this up. Sorry, keep going.
That's just it. It's just super annoying, and like it's at least you can know that like it'll fluctuate, but they're doing it on purpose to like give these people a dopamine rush of like, we're gonna make this video hit 1 million views and it's gonna have 100,000 likes and we're gonna spaz them out and then we're gonna steal it from them so they spend their money on us.
Yeah, it's nuts. I've only done one ad on TikTok and I knew the video was going to do good anyway, but like, and it's expensive. I mean, like there's some bands that I do promotion packages with and stuff like that. And it's very affordable. And I have different tiers for bands to like help get them heard in whatever, what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
demographic?
No, sorry, for like their like how much they can afford or like what their budget is or something like that to help them. Like I'm still in here to help bands, but I have to put a roof over my head as well. So like there's stuff like that, but like I wanted to test the water. I'm like, I know this video is going to be good, and it was like $50 Canadian for like 10,000 views.
Yeah,
and
it's so crazy.
But I looked at the analytics after that, and I think I got a notification for it to be like, oh, give us a review on it. I'm like, go fuck yourself. But like, I saw the things that's like, it had 3 shares, it had 6 comments and 10,000 views. I'm like, that's all you can fucking give me on this? I'm like, for one, like, and when I know a couple of friends of mine, I don't know if they'll be watching this or not, but like I've heard some of them say like, YouTube ads and stuff like that, Google AdSense, it works, blah, blah, blah. But like, I really don't know in that sense, because like if you're going to pay for an ad, I mean, you can still type in more than you can TikTok. TikTok, you can't even put like hashtags or anything to like aim for a demographic. It's just promote. Yeah. It'll shoot for what it is. So it might be different more on YouTube, but like
YouTube, you can go crazy.
Yeah, YouTube, you can probably get in more in front of the people that you need to get in front of. But like even that, like I see some of these videos on here where some of these like YouTube channels will have packages where you can pay to have your music video have more views or whatever. And then I look at the view and like comment ratio, and it's like, it just doesn't make sense at that sense. So like, I don't know. I would rather do it organically.
Yeah, of course. Like I've done. All right, so I did 2 ads, but they were on videos that had already blown up. So I knew that it would, and I went through like something else. Like it wasn't just TikTok promote. It was like I had to get the promotion key, and it was a whole thing. But
I didn't know there was more of that.
It's like an outside thing. But the problem I have with it is I am like skeptical of it, because you can choose whether you want to make the video get more views or you want to get followers from it. And I have a friend that will do this, and he'll do the follower one, and like he gains like 200 followers from a promotion. But how are they doing that? Like, are they real? You know what I mean? Because if you choose views, you will get no followers, but you will get a ton of views. If you choose followers, you'll get hardly any views, but a lot of followers. So I just think it's weird. I don't know.
I mean, you can buy followers and stuff like that as well. Even going live on Twitch, you can buy viewers, I guess, in a way to make you look bigger in whatever subject you're streaming.
Right, but from TikTok is what sketches me out.
Yeah.
Because you can't buy viewers on Twitch. You have to go like third party, you know?
True. Yeah. I mean, I've never done that before. Like, it's crazy when I think about that. When I do live stream, I'm like, I have like over 1 million followers. Why am I only streaming with like 30 to 40 people? That just blows my mind sometimes.
Yeah.
And then it makes you think, it's like, are these other subscribers, followers on other platforms even real? But like, I mean, I'm very nonchalant. I'm like, I honestly like keeping it low key when I go live on Twitch, because it just gets me more closer with the audience that I want to be friends with and have a really good time with. I mean, if I had like bigger numbers where I have to pay attention to like 200 or 300, 400, 1,500 people to fucking talk to, I'd be like, oh shit. I mean, I'd probably be a little bit more hype. Like, I'd be smashing more shit if that was the case. But yeah, it's crazy to think about in that sense.
There's a point where if you watch like a Kai Cenat stream or something, it's no longer about him in the chat. It's a show that he's putting on, and that's the problem. Like, if you got too many people watching at one time, too many people in the chat, it's no longer a conversation. Like, with you're having a conversation with these people and you're like interacting with them and there's a community. But if it was just the chat was just it's now just like a show that you're putting on, like a play.
For some of it, for sure. I mean, like, I listen to a song and you know what, like some of the reactions that I have are probably like a little over exaggerated. Like, I don't need to shove 20 hot dogs in my mouth during Motionless in White or fucking flamethrower or something. But like,
you can still be entertaining.
Yeah, you can still be entertaining in a sense, but like, it has to be if it's good. Like, there's still songs that are like, they're okay. Like, I'm not gonna get up and smack the mic for it just because it had a blech in it type deal. But like, that's the thing. It's like, if I really enjoy it, if I connect to the song and stuff like that, it's gonna get me hyped up. So like, even that, there's still people in front of me. It's just like when a band goes live, they're gonna jump around more opposed to like 15 people compared to like 3,000. It's like, it's just a different energy for sure. But it's just crazy. It's cool to kind of think about that in that sense. So
what was the first video you slapped the mic on?
Oh, fuck. I don't even know.
That mic slap's iconic.
Oh, there's a lot. There was actually a guy that's in our community, and he actually made like the first like volume 1 Ohrion Max Smack video.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and it's like 30 minutes long of like just me beating up the
destroying
fucking mic.
the mic.
I'm like, I'm waiting for volume 2.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool. And it's like, obviously, yeah, people fucking, but then that's the other thing is like, when's that going to phase out kind of thing? So like, I think that's what a lot of creators need to look at, especially for you. It's like, you know, what's the next step type deal for like when SpongeBob like kind of like phases out? What's your next approach on that?
So I think by that time, I mean, it could happen today.
Dude, I'm thinking the same thing of like reactions. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm trying to think of like other content ideas to like go after and stuff like that. But like some days I think like, when is the reaction phase going to like phase out? Like, as much as I see my numbers kind of dying, I know there's not a lot of big songs, but like, it scares me sometimes, right? This is my livelihood.
Yeah.
So
so I guess I've done this. I put myself in this spot from the beginning of, like I said earlier, being disconnected from it. It feels like I'm kind of seeing this happen. Obviously it's me, and I still am doing the thing on the notifications where you refresh to see if it says like 20 and others, like just, you know, seeing how well the video's doing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm fully aware that nothing lasts forever and all of that. So from the beginning, I've always said, I'm just going to do what I want. And I even say it in my live streams, I warn people, I say, I'm going to do something and I'm going to make stuff that you guys do not fuck with. Like, you guys are not going to like some of the stuff I make. I thought Plan Z would do that. It didn't, but I still am telling them that this is what's going to happen. I'm going to make a song. You guys are not going to like it. Fair warning. And that's just how it's going to be. And I think that's the only thing you can do, because you can't control anything else. But what you do, and why not do what you want to do? Do you know what I mean? You just have to ignore the fear of like people will forget about me or people won't like it, because I believe like if it resonates inside of you, people will feel and see that resonation and they'll feel it as well. Someone will. But if you don't feel it at all and you're just phoning it in, they can feel that as well. Yep. So I just need to, it's just, that's what it is. And with me and the SpongeBob thing and like what the next phase is, like I said, there's going to be a lot of pieces starting to be put together. I've purposefully put out these specific songs. They're really introduction songs. Like even just the Pineapple expresses like, I'll tell a little bit of the story, like just kind of just through the songs that are out now, like expresses that there's some sort of love connection that went awry, and Plan Z is obviously the secret formula. But what is the secret formula? Is it the Neon Tide? And then the Neon Tide, people said in the comments, that could be a reference. Like, what is that a reference to? That could be a reference to AI, something else. So it's really, I'm in the kind of introduction phase. And a lot of people are like understanding that, like, I got comments asking if Battling My Demons with Jarus Johnson is a part of the story, someone said. And I was stoked that was a question that was being asked, because people are seeing that there's a story involved, and Battling My Demons was just a fun song. It's not a part of the story.
Oh,
but,
interesting.
Yeah, it was just like a fun thing to do. But there's going to be a lot of pieces to be put together, and I'm super excited for that to start happening. And not that I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing, but it's going to be an understandable segue to be able to do whatever I want, even if that's outside of SpongeBob, if people understand what I'm doing with this.
Fuck yeah. Hold on one sec. I gotta take a piss. I can't think.
Stop looking at me, Ryan. I know you're watching this, editing this right now. Stop looking at me. Just edit it out. Cut it already.
You still good for time? You good?
Dude, I'm good if you're good, bro.
Okay, yeah, I'm good. I'm having a really good conversation.
How was your pee, dude?
That was great. Long as fuck, but
amazing.
You good? You don't need to get up or anything?
Oh, I'm not. Today was like an absolutely free day. So it was a good day for you to choose. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So yeah, going into that, like I totally know what you mean by that. Like it's just, yeah, I mean, as much as like you have something going, I think that's really cool. Even for me, like as a reaction scene, I obviously like doubled down on it. Like that is my main focus for a lot of this content. So like it even scares me to like sometimes do different content. Like as much as it's cool to hang out with like Chris Motionless or Caleb Chameau and Jamie from Polaris and doing some of these interviews, and like it scares the shit out of me for sure. But like I also think about the future and like what it's gonna hold. Like this is full time. Is this full time for you or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't too sure. Like I mean, that's fucking sick. That like, were you able to quit your job because of this, or were like you were a songwriter, producer before all this?
So I was a songwriter. I've been writing and producing. Well, I've been producing for maybe like, I'm looking at the year right now just to like figure out where I'm at. But like maybe like 10 years I've been producing. A little longer, 11, something like that.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. Songwriting for like serious songwriting, maybe like 5 years. And I was doing this full time, but that doesn't mean I was making money or anything. But like it was like I was sacrificing just like normal life and like
no vacations, ramen and noodles kind of deal.
Literally. Like I lived at home, just grinded it out. Luckily, my family, they understood like my goal, and honestly, it got to the point where I was like, okay, now what? You know, like I'm like doing this, and in my heart, I feel like I'm at a level that's like way like above where I thought I could be, and like I feel like now I should be doing much more than I am. So
yeah, I feel that.
Boi What at the very beginning was like an SOS almost of like I'm doing all this stuff, no one seems to care. Hello, you know, like okay, now maybe I need to like do something weird to catch people's attention, but then the right people will see it and understand. And that's like Just a Pineapple was just like me, just I can write songs, guys, you know, I can do this. And I knew that people would enjoy it for the SpongeBob, but then songwriters and producers and artists would be like, okay, who's doing this then? Like there's more to this than just SpongeBob. And so it was like my SOS. But yeah, I've been doing this full time for a long time, but now I'm like truly doing it full time, not just Boi What, but just like writing and other stuff as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, I'm glad to hear. Like I know like a lot of, you know, musicians are struggling and they're looking for that big break kind of thing. So I feel like as much as I can't really, I guess, kind of formulate what we're talking about into them, like I know you're more like, is it safe to say like, I guess like an internet project kind of thing more than anything? Like have you played live shows at all, or have you done any of that in like in your life at all? Like have you played in other bands? No.
So I was never in a band. I was always the guy that bands would go to record.
Oh.
And you know, but I was always making my own music. I would just never would put it out. My hard drive is like 1,000 songs probably, just like whateverness. And,
so you're gonna be like Juice WRLD, and you can die and like you're still releasing songs.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, it's funny that you even say that. There's like, I'm not gonna say too much about it, but there's like the next song it has a lot to do with that idea of like dying without being heard or understood. And that was always a very big fear of mine. And I mean, it still kind of is, because like whatever, but I feel like a lot of artists would relate to that, is like you have those thoughts of like, what if I like, if you're very passionate about something and you're getting it done, but no one has really heard it yet, like what if I don't get to show that? And yeah, it's like kind of the premise of the next song in a way. It's tied in there a little bit, but yeah, I've always been doing this, and I'm just stoked now that people care, even if it's just through the SpongeBob thing. Like, you know, we're getting somewhere.
Hell yeah. No, and like I know that's a touchy subject as well. Like I think we all kind of think about that as well. especially when it comes to, I guess, content creating, or I feel like a lot of it, you know, it's not saying that we all think that we all want it type deal, but like we all want to be heard. We all want to be someone. We want to live that YouTube life that some people obviously live. And I feel like it's definitely easy to do it in this world. But like it's very cool in a way, but yet so deep to kind of think about it in that way as well. I mean, I have a hard drive as well. Like I could probably pass away and I got like fucking probably another 10 years worth of content to post if that was the case, but they're not on the best songs. But it's now that you kind of made me think about that a little bit more as well. And I feel like I feel like that's why we need to be a little bit more in tune with ourselves when it comes to like grounding and being a little bit more spiritually awake in a way. I feel like it just be happy with yourself. I mean, like some of us go through this and, you know, we're living off ramen noodles and stuff like that and barely being able to pay rent just to live our dream. Like it's crazy to like put that in perspective that we're just all chasing the dream or to be someone kind of thing, when yet we should really be focusing on the little things that fucking matter in our world or what's going on in our life, which is crazy. I feel like this world is just so distracted. And like now that you're telling me about more of the story with Boi What and like just the whole AI thing and like how us being on our phones is just fucked up. It should put people in a better perspective in that sense. So
I think so. And I feel like that's also a thing that just a lot of artists struggle with in general. Like you were saying, like we should be in tune with ourselves. And that's like my main goal with this whole thing is I don't want to lose that. I don't want to like just do what people want. Like I remember I made a post that was like, should I continue with this is before Plan Z, should I continue with the country thing or should I do something different? And the poll was straight up do the country thing, you know?
Really?
And that, yeah, like no one at the time wanted anything else. And that comes back to the familiarity thing. Like people want something that they know already. It's scary. Change is scary. But that made me it's almost like I made the poll to go against what people said because like I don't know, like at the time I made it I didn't want to do the country thing anymore, of course.
Yeah.
And Glorb did a similar poll actually after I did mine, not that he saw mine, but he was like, should I do SpongeBob voices or should I do these shows? Like should I do a different show? And in my mind he posted that because he was done with he didn't want to do the SpongeBob thing anymore. Why else would he post it? But the whole poll was 90% SpongeBob, and that's an artist thing. Like people struggle with. It's like, do I do what I want or keep trying to please everyone else? And you can't please everyone else. You can only please yourself. Yeah. And I think the more you please yourself, the more you can please others. It's a weird thing, but
I mean, when you're asking your audience where you've already built a whole genre of like SpongeBob fans, it's like, yeah, they're gonna do that, or like country fans in that sense, they're gonna say that. So I feel like that's, as much as we ask our audience what we want, I feel like that's another hard thing too. And I don't really ask that too much. Like I get like signs and stuff from people in my Discord, or I just get in this rut where I'm like, fuck, like I see, you know, my friends in the YouTube world doing other content like the Metal Burb or like Drew or Nick Nocturnal, Tank the Tech, and it's like I see this and I'm like, fuck, man, like they're so good at doing different content, and I'm like, I'm so scared to do it. And like I have these ideas, and like it's just, I feel like I've built this whole, I don't know, like this whole image of like I show new bands, so it's like every video that I post out is gonna be a new band. It's either gonna be a banger or it's gonna be a hit for people, kind of thing. And like that's, you know, like been my thing for a while. So I don't know how to construct those things. So it's like it scares the shit out of me to like make like a hot take video or to do something different. So like, I mean, like I used to be a vocalist in a band. Like I have a little bit of music knowledge in a way. And like, sometimes I bring it up in streams. I'll show people like, oh yeah, this is me screaming. And it's like, they fucking howl and they're like, holy shit. Like, I don't know if you know the guy, Retri. He's like a deathcore kind of vocalist guy, kind of doing his own thing.
Maybe.
He does everything himself, but he does like did some stuff with like Taylor Barber and a couple other artists as well. But anyway, I was like on a phone call with him just randomly as I was editing and showing him some of my old stuff. And he's like, bro. And then he asked me to be on like one of his songs. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this anymore, man. I'm like, I was like fucking 19 years old when I was doing this shit. No. Well, we are planning to do it. Like, he's already announced it and like tagged me and said featuring Ohrion, and there was another feature on it as well. So I'm like, all right, I guess we're doing this. I'm like, I'll blow up my voice for this. I don't give a fuck. It'll be fun. So
that's gonna be sick.
Yeah, so it'll be like, I guess, like my debut in the YouTube world for this kind of shit. But like, I've wanted to do that. Like, I live in a condo. I don't want to be practicing screaming and shit in here. And I'm good friends with David Benitez as well from Extreme Vocalist Institution. He's a great dude. Did a podcast with him in the same manner. And I have the classes, and I'm just like, you know, like I feel like a lot of the spotlight's on me at the same time too. So like, I really want to do good at what I'm going to do. So it's very frightening for a lot of people. So that's why I feel like I was kind of an important question to ask. Like, you know, if a SpongeBob kind of like went away type deal, what would that fucking look like? So going back into Glorb though, like, have you guys ever thought about doing a collab together, or like, what's your kind of like relationship in that sense?
We have. Yeah. It hasn't happened, but we've talked about it. It would just have to make sense. Also, like, how, you know, like,
you do the exact same thing, whether it's rap or metalcore kind of thing. I mean, like, it goes hand in hand anyway, that we know, but yeah, how?
I could just make a song and do the voice and say it's Glorb, and no one would know the difference. That's the big problem with it, is that like I could just put my next song out and say featuring Glorb without him doing anything on it, and people would believe it because we're just using these like AI voices. That's like the hard thing about it. That's why the Jarus thing was so simple and like made sense, because he's like a real artist. You know, he's a real singer. Like, he's actually like his voice, and you can tell who's who. Yeah. But we've talked and we've discussed it. The first time I talked to him was like, this is a crazy story that I've never told before, but there was this weird thing with DistroKid. You know DistroKid, right? Yeah. Where if you had uploaded a song on Spotify, someone else could use this thing on DistroKid called like Distro Locker or something, where you could say that any song is yours if the person isn't like on a label or something and they're just uploading through TuneCore or DistroKid. You could get their song just taken down and locked to the point where it can't be re-uploaded, but that person can upload the song and you can't take it down because it's locked through DistroKid. It was some weird, terrible loophole. And this had happened to him. And I'm not going to get into details on how he got his song back, because I don't want to get anyone in trouble. But he told me that they were like coming after like me next, and he was able to like divert them and like tell them not to, and which I appreciate him for so much. But that was like the first conversation we had, was him just like warning me. He was like, these people, like these like weird like Discord people are like coming after
like hackers, like hacking your music to steal your shit.
It was like this crazy thing, and he was like stressed out. I was stressed out because I had just put the song out and it was doing well, and that was the first time we had talked. We talked a little bit about doing a song. I actually tried to get him on Neon Tide, but our schedules were totally like flip-flopped, so we weren't able to do it. There was a whole other part in Neon Tide after the second chorus where it was like this trap thing, like a beat, and then it like sped up into like this like insane like almost Icy Stars breakdown. That I changed up, and that was the reason why Neon Tide took so long. There's a lot of like people were spazzing out because I had posted a teaser like a month before the song came out, so there was a big amount of time where people were just like, is this coming out? And people were getting mad, like actually furious at me for not like putting the song out, and which I fully understood. but it was stressful. I was like, oh my God. So I had to redo the whole second half of it. And just try to make it as good as I thought it could be. And without the features that I planned on like real, like other like actual metal features as well. It's gonna be like 2 features on the song and end up with none. Ooh. But that's why it took forever. It took so long.
Yeah, and honestly, it all fucking came together, man. Like, look how much it blew up. So, I mean, like, we go through these challenges alone. Like, I feel like that's kind of like myself right now. And I know we talked a little bit before we actually hit record, but like with the whole Caleb thing and me doing the interview and like shit just kind of happens. But you get thrown in these universal curveballs where it just fucking works for you, which is insane. So it makes us better as creators, artists, and like just the way that we think, I think is just fantastic. It gets us more creative. It puts us in these vulnerable states of like to making us better as people, and it can just go wild. So I mean, as much as it sucks that it happened to you for that reason, but man, I think it paid back tenfold.
I don't know if I don't think the song would have done as well because that bridge, I was just like, okay, if this isn't gonna happen, I'm gonna make this like a little more wild. And that bridge, once again, in the reaction videos, I watched those to see what people react to, and it's like a highlight moment. I don't think it would have been a highlight moment if I had kept it the original way. So it happened for a reason, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's some stuff that I react to that I go through the whole song, and waiting for this like highlight moment is a better way of saying that instead of like just breakdowns or something. I'm like, there's something that I need to sell here to my audience. And that's the things that I do look for, and the team that I have behind me on looking for, when they come through my emails saying like, hey, let's do a promo kind of thing with Ohrion. So I have a team that obviously goes through the stuff, and you've been through it as well. And like the guy that's, the Channy, big shout out to him. Like, he's just helped me so much with my emails and sorting out, some of the fluff and what's good and what's not type deal. He knows exactly what I like. I've helped him kind of understand what's going to take off and this and that. And that's the thing. It's like, there's some stuff that gets by where it's like, it's not that good type deal, but like I can still kind of make content on it. So like, it's like, but I like doing that in the same way as well. Like I try to think about it in the other person's shoes too. So I might get a band that might not have such a heavy breakdown, or the quality's there on their mix and stuff like that. But like, I really like them. They're starting out. Like, I want to see them grow kind of thing. So like doing a reaction or a review, it helps them grow. And they've all messaged back saying like, dude, thank you so much for being just straight up and honest. I think it's a lot of the other stuff as well that I just find very great about either our clients or fans and stuff like that. But it's just, you have to kind of know what's going to take off in that sense. I don't know. That's
why I think you guys are so good for the scene, because like you do that. You know what I mean? Like these people can like, it's a different audience. These reaction things, like it's a very positive audience and very positive people doing it. And even someone that wouldn't get the love shown to them normally, like these bands, like they might just hear from their friends that like they like the songs, and like it's the internet kind of saying like they might have a small fan base or whatever, but like to see someone actually react to the song, like it changes the way an artist will look at their own song, just like someone showing it in like the most positive light, because there's positive in everything, and if you're just showing that off, it can like really like change their perspective.
Yeah, I totally agree. Rolling off that one, I'll try to I got a few more questions, not too much.
That's fine.
But have you ever received like any particular memorable or meaningful feedback from a listener, or someone that's like reviewed your stuff? Not saying me, but like, is there anything that like really sticks to you that like just really helped you, I guess, in your musical career, whether it was a fan or anything?
Right. I mean, so like I said, I would always watch reaction videos like before Boi What, when I had nothing out. I just like watching the like the parts where people react to and like all this stuff. And I mean, for me, like stuff that's changed my way of looking at making music is it might not be like the most like the best answer, but it's really just like how to trim the fat in whatever I'm making. Like that's what I've really pulled from, because you can see it in people when you start to lose them, you know. And like I come from my favorite producers are like John Feldman is one of them, where if you go back and you listen to like some of the first used records that he did, you can hear just these changes in the song. Like every like measure, every 2 measures, there's something new happening and it catches your ear. And now being able to see when you start to lose people or you start to like really reel them in has helped me a lot with just like crafting the most interesting possible song. And I feel like that requires a lot of moves that would be scary to people that aren't focusing on that. You know, normally like in a song like Neon Tide, like right after the chorus is like this insane change. Like the first chorus is the AI failed part. Like that might be scary to a lot of people because they might want to go into the verse because like that's how it's supposed to be done. Or if they have like an intro riff, they'll like put the intro riff right after the chorus. But I'm like, you've heard that already. Like they know what that is. They don't need to hear it again. The only thing you need to hear again is the chorus. Like that's really what I've pulled from it. Outside of just like the respect for what you guys do, like it's just been a lot of stuff to learn from for me.
Sorry, when you said the use, all I can think of, it's 4 o'clock in the fucking morning.
Yeah, bro,
like, yeah, that shit stuck with me. Still sticks with me from today when I wake up with fucking back pain. It's like, fuck, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. What the fuck?
That song has changed its meaning so much.
yeah, it totally has. Oh shit. So how do you like balance your work life with your personal life these days? How's that work?
I disregard the personal life.
Yo, same. That's bad.
That's what I do, bro. That's what I was like. I said, like I've sacrificed a lot, and I have. It was really like unknowingly doing it, but that's just kind of what it is. Like, I've cut out. I dropped out of school because I just knew that I didn't want to do that. So when I did that, I was no longer like around people all the time, you know? Like I was like, if I'm leaving school, like I need to learn what I want to do. So that's like when I like started producing. I said it was like 11 years ago or something. So I was like 16 and I just got like cracked FL Studio and just ignored my life and everything else around me for like ever. And it's an issue that I still have, but
is there any regrets in that?
No, because I see the people that didn't ignore, they're like just because I wasn't ignoring like my family or anything like that, but I was ignoring the stuff that really doesn't matter, like pointless relationships or pointless people and friends and hangouts and like pointless parties. And no shame to that. Like if you're like going out and like having a good time, if that's what you want to do. But I knew that it was kind of just not a roadblock, but just something that would slow me down.
You knew who you wanted in your life that was going to help you either get to your goals or like be the right fit for it. Like you don't want anyone negative or someone holding you back, whether you're in a relationship or something like that. You need that support. Is that what you're trying to say, I guess?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like if I had all of these plans and like these super connections with people, whether that be like a long-term relationship or something, like they wouldn't like it. because like I trapped for years. I trapped myself in my room and just learned the art of making music, and I wanted nothing. I wanted to do nothing else. So it's like I said, it was more of a subconscious. It was a thing that was happening. I didn't realize, but that's all I wanted to do. So now I'm at a point where I'm able to like not do that. You know, like I've put my like 50,000 hours in.
Yeah,
but
that's a good point. The 50,000 hour point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think people say 10,000 hours, but like I think I did more than that. Like just accidentally, just not focusing on anything else. And so I'm trying to get better at the work and personal life balance for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it can be hard. I mean, even for myself, I've been self-employed since I was probably 22, 23 years old. I've had businesses like, and I've been like, I guess, entrepreneur world of since I was like 16. I've told this story a couple times as well. I don't know how many people really know about it because it's like more or less on like shit like this. But like I used to be in like heavy into photography. That's kind of like what was like my gateway of freedom in my mind when it came to like high school. We had like a photography course, got into digital photography. I was teaching my photographer how to use Photoshop back then. Like it was fucking awesome. And then it got to the point where like I was doing like live shows, and then I was making MySpace layouts. I was doing HTML. Like I taught myself how to do all this shit, like the banners with all the buttons and the HTML stuff in there, and then doing photos for bands. And then I think I was like at the age of like 16, 17 years old. I think I was 17, and I got kicked out of my house for smoking weed. I was like doing like a fucking waterfall. My mom walked in. She's like, get the fuck out. So I was like couch surfing for about a week or so before I fucking had to come back home, and they gave me the taste of the real world type deal. And I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm not living here. And I got a fucking job. I was still in high school. I was working night shifts at like Tim Hortons, which for you guys is like a Dunkin' Donuts kind of vibe, but like night shifts at that. And like I was had my own apartment there. I was on my own since I was like 17 years old. So like I had that like momentum to like just drive. And like even my dad, my biological father, like it just wasn't that support. I didn't really have him in my life. And I just didn't want to be like him either. Like, it's just kind of like a low life kind of situation. And he tried to like kidnap me in like grade 9, which I don't think I've really said too much about as maybe close friends of mine. But like, it's just like, yeah, I had a lot of shit happen to me, and I had a lot of drive since like 16, where I was like graphic design, photography. So from there, I had a print business. I bought my first house at like 21, 22 years old. My second house at like 25-ish, and then went through a divorce and everything. So I've been through the fucking ringer a bunch of times, but it's all life lessons, man. And it's just like, now it's gotten to the point, like I had a successful tint business back in the day. And I was doing like vehicle wraps and tinting. I was a one-man show, made really good money with it and stuff. And then like, I fell back in love with music when I met my fiance now. And she showed me the whole BLEGH stuff with Wage War and the wah-wahs and like, it's just really cool. So we kind of connected with that, and we met on like Plenty of Fish. So like, it was cool. Yeah, it was cool in that aspect. She's a little bit older than I am, but like, it's like we resonated with the Architects, Wage War and stuff like that. So like, it was just a bunch of back and forth of like songs, and we got together and just had a really good time. So like, she's really the inspiration. A lot of the stuff that I've like doing today with like music and reactions. So like, to like see you go through some of those stuff and like just those sacrifices that you've made and like make it all worth it, I feel that so fucking hard. Like,
dude, I feel like on your end, when you said like there's certain people in your life that you recognize as something that you don't want to be, and I feel like I 100% have that, even with the same characters in your life, like, you know, father, stuff like that. Like, there's people that like you learn from in that aspect, and that was a big driver in me. I would just, because I think a lot of those issues that they deal with is they sacrificed nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was not much of a sacrifice. Yeah. And like,
my dad could have called me and said, hey, let's fucking meet up, or like, hey, sorry, I fucked up. But there was none of that shit. Exactly, I still don't talk to him to this fucking day.
No, yeah, I relate to that 100%. And in the word sacrifice alone, it's means to give something up to better yourself and like to move on. Like you can't move on without sacrifice. So
Right.
I would look towards those people and be like, okay, I'm not going to be like that. How do I not be like that? It's by doing this. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do all that I can to get to where I want to be. And that's really what it is. And it's cool that you like have that same kind of thing going on.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I feel like it can be a double-edged sword as well. Like as much as I look at either some of my past and even past marriage and stuff like that, like, do you feel like there's anything that like you look back on and it's like, oh, I could have done shit better or anything like that? Like, I don't know. Like for me, like I'm very work oriented, and like I even feel like I'm a workaholic. I work from like 7 in the morning to like 2 or 3 in the morning. Like I am nonstop. You see how much content I post. But like I even look back at some of the stuff and I know there's some things that I need to work on and just be there in real time. I mean, I think we're all glued to our phone, especially as artists and like entrepreneurs and stuff like that. But like, do you think there's like anything in there that like you could, I guess, work on in that sense? I don't know where I was going with this question.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
Okay.
Like just any regrets in general with this whole thing. And I can't say that I do, because as corny and cliche as it is, like those are the things that you learn from.
Yeah.
If I didn't mess up or anything, I wouldn't have like steered in the right direction. And if I just like I don't know, if I just didn't recognize those issues. Just as you like recognize them now, it's because like you're past that point. And like if you don't have any regrets, then that means like you haven't changed. Like I look at my like Facebook memories and even
I delete
like
mine.
bro, like I don't like them at all.
Oh,
like,
dude, I don't even go on my personal Facebook anymore, man. I fucking hate Facebook.
Dude, I keep my Facebook just to look at the memories so I can see like how cringe or how like annoying or how whatever I was like. And that's
imagine if we had
like,
MySpace back.
Dude, bro, I tried to get in my MySpace because I had that when I was like 8.
Yeah.
Like I was really young, and I couldn't do it.
This was all like gone though. Like mine, like I had music on there from bands and stuff, and it's like all deleted. I try to show people.
Really?
Yeah, like I guess like a lot of the shit got deleted, and it made me really mad. So that's my big dilemma with MySpace.
I remember Justin Timberlake, I think, bought it, right? I think Justin Timberlake bought MySpace, and he started to like, he was like, he thought he was going to like make it a thing again, which obviously not. He was like dedicating it to music. And right around that time, you were still like able to like get into your account and like see pictures, but I couldn't remember my password. So, and it was a locked profile, so I couldn't see it.
And you're not using the same Gmail account or Hotmail account, I guess, at that time.
Dude, it was something. It might have been Yahoo. I don't remember, but I wish I could get back into that, because then it'd be like Facebook memories times 10. I would just like cringe nonstop till death.
I would totally react to that shit, like reacting to my first ever fucking recorded song. I mean, I have it on CD and stuff, but computers nowadays don't even have fucking CD drives, which blow.
Oh yeah.
So like, I would love to kind of do that stuff, but it's crazy. I honestly think if TikTok or anyone was kind of smart on these social platforms right now, we need like almost like the top 8 friends thing back, and we need like a signature song for our profile. Like it's just
yeah. I miss that shit. It was like so like that was like a golden age, because it hadn't gotten malicious yet, like the internet. So, and it was so creative. Just like you talking about HTML and all that, like you were able to really just like express whatever you wanted to on MySpace.
Yeah.
And I remember I had like the My Chemical Romance background, and like it was probably a My Chemical Romance song like as my thing, and like it was just so nice. And then Facebook came around, it became so sterile and so like just heartless and like soulless. I don't know. It's just we're in a weird age now.
I heard like in a TikTok somewhere where like Mark Zuckerberg asked like Mark, or what is it? Yeah, it's Mark, right? From MySpace. He asked him like Tom. Sorry, yeah, Mark.
Tom.
What the fuck am I thinking of? But yeah, he was asking him like how like things are going. Like, what are your like Tom basically like gave Mark all the answers to shit, and like that's like why Facebook kind of took off and like destroyed MySpace. I don't know it, don't quote me on it, but like saw something about it. I'm like, holy fuck, like that's nuts. It might have been like a Gary Vaynerchuk kind of thing, but I can't remember.
If that's true, Tom fumbled the bag immensely for the whole world.
Yeah.
For the whole world.
He is the reason why we're all depressed.
Literally, bro. He's the reason why I made Neon Tide, because that Meta conference with the clapping. It's all Tom's fault.
Way to go, Tom. Go fucking puke in your toilet. Where was it?
I'll never forget that picture of him, though.
Yeah, it's the white fucking shirt. But like, I think there was a MySpace the movie video on YouTube. I don't know if you remember that. But like
a little bit,
like the guy's like going around with like a duck call, and he's got like antlers and like some it was just this whole MySpace thing. Look it up on MySpace, whoever's listening, or on YouTube, MySpace the movie. But like Tom's at the end of this video and he's partying with everyone, and everyone's like, yeah, Tom, you're on my top 8, bro, this and that, and then like they're all drinking and partying, and like he was like puking on the table, and he looks up, and that's how he got his like promo picture.
Yeah. It's so funny. So funny.
Fuck. All right, a couple of rapid questions here for you. We'll wrap it up at the end here. Cool. But all right, so what is Boi What? Actually, what is your fucking name? Does anyone really know that?
My name.
You don't have to release it, but we can just.
No, I mean, that's the thing. Like my personals are like super easy to find. My name to the public is Matthew, which is my middle name, and it was also like an artist project that I had beforehand where I would just release a couple songs.
I was kind of looking at that,
yeah. So people call me Matthew. Boi What is just a name that I made up.
Where did that come from then?
Dude, I made the first song, and I was sitting on the couch, and I was making a TikTok, or no, I was making like some sort of artist account, and it was literally like this, like, sit down, what should the name be? Boi What? Like, I'm not even joking.
That easy?
Yeah. So
what the fuck were you looking at? Like, to even like come up with that?
I think I saw the TV and it said what, like the word what, which is just a normal English word that's like in every sentence, and for some reason, I don't know, boy right in front of it with an I.
Not bro, it's boy. Like,
yeah. And so it was off the cuff, just and the name, like the logo, like the
let's talk about that. Yeah, what is this fucking thing?
So that was the whole thing in the beginning was I'm gonna like make this project like through AI with everything, just to showcase AI. And
please tell me you typed in Boi What and that's what popped up.
Dude, I don't remember what I had typed in, but I do remember it was this weird app on the phone. I think this was like right when Midjourney, you know Midjourney?
Yeah.
This was right when like Midjourney had come out or something, but I wasn't using it yet. And I can't remember what I typed in, but it was this app and it had a slider. And it was from like 0 to like 100, let's say. And any move on the slider would change the photo dramatically. And I had just like moved it to the perfect spot. Perfect. It was just a random spot at the time. And this image came up was what we see. And it was just a million different changes to it with the slider. And I was just like, oh, that one looks cool. So I just picked that one, and now that's what it is.
That's what it is. Now that's your identity now.
Yeah. And I've incorporated this logo and this idea of Boi What into the story that none of it has been shown yet, but that whole entity plays a big part in this story that we'll see more of.
So is there any plans to write like a full album about this or what? Boi What?
Yeah. No, I don't know exactly what it's going to be called, but it ties back to the nostalgic thing. Like, I wanted to make my American Idiot or my Black Parade
Yeah.
Which sounds ridiculous. I know.
No, I don't
'cause
think
it's
it does.
SpongeBob.
That's an
does.
inspiration, man. Like I could also say like I want to be the next Nick Nocturnal kind of thing. Like it's just
Right.
it's like an inspiration of your influences.
Yeah, yeah, and like I'm super into like Broadway, and I was never like a theater kid, but I love like just musicals and concept albums. American Idiot and the Black Parade are my two favorite albums. Like Black Parade #1, American Idiot second, and that's what gets me going is like that kind of story. And so there is going to be an album. People ask for it all the time, and I'm not sure how exactly I'll roll it out, but there is going to be a body of work, and it'll have the whole story just lined through it, and it'll be cool.
That's cool, man. So do you do all the guitar work, drum work, and stuff as well? Like I'm sure a lot of it's programmed, but
yeah, just like everything nowadays.
Yeah.
But like everything it starts with me and ends with me. Outside of Neon Tide, which I had my friend Brandon help me mix, which he's in a band called Straview with the dude from Crown the Empire, the old screamer Crown the Empire, this new band. They're really cool, but he helped me mix Neon Tide. But everything else starts with me, ends with me.
Cool.
I produce, I write, all of it.
That's
mix
really
it.
cool, man. What do you do on your free time? Or do you are you a gamer? Do you cook? Like what do you do?
Dude, I do game a little bit. I've been playing I've been getting back into Guitar Hero.
Oh man, I really want that. What is it, Clone Hero? I thought that'd be fun to make some content or just do some streams on. But like, I used to love Guitar Hero, so
yeah, I have like a really dark past with Guitar Hero.
No, tell us more. What's your favorite
Insane.
song on it? Like, what one do you play? Do you play like what one do you play? What's your favorite one?
I'm wondering how much I should go into it, but Through the Fire and Flames is like the song I'll always go to and play. I was super obsessed with the game back in the day, 2007 to 2011. I was like deep. For anyone who's watching, they'll know like the term FC, like which is full combo, which is like 100% essentially. By 2011, I had like FC Through the Fire and Flames. Like that's how deep I was. I remember like I was like, I think there was a list of people that have done it on this guy's profile, and I was like the 18th one I think to do it. And that also taught me a lot about like just like you can get better at things. That I still like. I feel like I still have that mentality. Like you can get good at anything you want to, as if you just do it a lot. And so yeah, I've played a lot of Guitar Hero. I've been getting back into it. Other than that, I'm like with video games, it's like the basic ones like COD and Fortnite.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm just like making music or like watching wrestling, or I'll hang out with friends sometimes. I'm moving with a bunch of friends. When I'm in New York, I'm always like, we're always doing things like just going out or like trying to have a good time. Cause like I said, I'm trying to balance that personal work life, but yeah, it's nothing too crazy at all.
I mean, that sounds really chill and relaxed as well. So I guess you don't have a girl or a partner or anything, or
no girlfriend.
You're gonna go to SoCal that life, I guess. Is that where you're moving towards?
Yeah, moving to LA.
Yeah.
Trying to figure that out. That's a whole process, moving literally across the country as far as you can go, pretty much.
That's scary, man. That's so scary.
Yeah,
I mean, I moved like an hour away from my stomping grounds to here, and it's like, it's a big move for sure. I can't imagine going from like a different state or just from Canada to the US. So
yeah, it's definitely it's a scary thing. The scariest part is like the process of moving, because it's not like a normal move where you get a U-Haul. You have to like I have to get a pod and have it shipped and like fly and hope it's there when I'm there. There's a whole thing to it. So that's what I've been doing alongside of Boi What for the past like month now, is trying to get all that together.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Honestly, I think there's gonna be a lot of opportunity there for you as well. I mean, like California is just stupid expensive to live as well. So, I mean, that alone is going to be a challenge, I feel, for any kind of artist. And I like, as much as we live here, like I live in the Toronto area, and the rent alone, I don't pay rent, like I own our place here, but
Nice.
like to the rent alone here, I think is like, oh my God, it's disgusting. Like $2,800 just for like a 1-bedroom apartment a month,
Yeah,
and then
bro.
plus your utilities and stuff. And that's Canadian as well, so I don't know, it might be like 22-ish, maybe 2,000 a month for the US, but like the taxes are, I guess, are kind of almost the same as well in California, I hear.
Yeah, California is brutal, bro. My bank account is not excited for it. Like, I'm moving with a bunch of people, so
That's
like
good.
that helps a little bit. But like, bro, like 1-bedroom apartments are like $3,200 out there, and they're small, like 500
yeah.
square feet.
500? Oh shit, mine's only like 700, if that. So
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. So, I mean, I'm excited though. I really
It's
am.
gonna be
like,
an adventure, man. Take it all in. That's all I could say for you, man. Just enjoy it and go with the process of it.
For sure, yeah.
All right, what matters the most to you when it comes to music or music writing?
Story. 100. I've said story in this interview. Like the transcript on YouTube, you're gonna be able to type that in and like Control F story. It's gonna come up 100 times. But that's really what it is. It's the story. And since I was a kid, like, once again, American Idiot, like I didn't maybe realize but the story there, but I knew that there was something bigger to the album that I was attracted to. And as time went on, like I got into musicals and stuff like that. And then that's why I also like really like country music, is because it's all story based. And without a story, you're just, what do you do? You're just like saying words. You know what I mean? Like there has to be like something there. And the deeper the story, the more I feel people can connect to it. So I'm also like very like stingy with my taste. Like I need a good like story and like a good outside of that part, like the story part, it's really like it needs to be like pop, I guess, if that makes sense. And not pop as in like just Dua Lipa, but just the structure of pop music, I think is just, it's just unmatched. Even like people, like I said, Artificial Suicide, it's a pop song. So like that is super important to me. I can't write something that's not like a pop song because it's not interesting to me. I think pop is just like the Mr. Beast formula of music, like just keeping people entertained and attached for as long as you can.
I agree with that. And honestly, with my talk with Caleb, like his influences are like Britney Spears, NSYNC, and Ariana Grande. I'm not kidding. Like
That's
like,
awesome.
he's like, it's the pop thing. And I've heard even Cody from Wage War as well say as like, it's pop music, man. Like it's just, you turn those melodies into like the form that you really like, whether it's metal or metalcore, and
yeah,
it's gonna turn into something great. Like, I mean, you have those hooks, you have those melodies, you're relatable. Do something a little bit different so it changes every year and stay like fresh and relevant, I guess. Like it's, I guess what I could look at in a short form answer of like what makes you successful, I guess, in the music world. But I guess that's kind of what I've learned just even doing reactions and seeing what pops off. And yeah, it's a lot of cool things.
And anyone who like says like they don't like pop, like to me pop isn't a genre. Like you could look at Dua Lipa and say like that's pop, but if you like that song "Don't Start Now," don't show up, don't start now, that's a disco song. Like that's the genre is disco, but it's pop, but it's disco. And in the same way that like a Bring Me the Horizon song is pop, but it's metal.
Yeah,
like pop is a flag that you can stick into any genre and say, I'm going to write a pop song in this genre. And people like pop music, whether they know it or not. Like, unless you're listening to like field recordings of like 15-minute long like drones, like you want to hear something that's got like verse, chorus, like that alone is just a pop thing. You know what I mean? Like So
it shouldn't be called metalcore. It should be metal pop. Is basically what it is.
That's Bad Omens essentially.
Yeah.
But that's secondary to me. Is like, and it also goes hand in hand with story to me. Is just pop oriented.
Fuck yeah. No, that's cool. It's really good to have those inspirations as well, especially like on the older side of things. And it relates a little bit more to me with the whole, you know, Green Day, American Idiot, Black Parade. I mean, I don't even think I've really listened. Yeah, calling myself out here. That I've really listened to the Black Parade when it came to My Chem. I think I've ran through it a couple times, but the only song I know is Black Parade off that album. Yeah, but okay. Three Cheers, I know everyone. Like Thanks for the Venom is like my favorite fucking song. I love the riffs on that. But yeah, I'll definitely have to do an album review on it. I'm gonna get chewed out for that one, but that's okay.
Dude, you should do an album review and like really. There's basically the premise of it is just like it's a cancer patient who's dying and he's being confronted by death as a person, and this person throughout the whole time is like kind of mocking him and scaring him. But the reason he's doing that is because this cancer patient was also just not a good person in his life, and he hadn't ever like admitted that or showed any sort of remorse for that. And by the end of the album, he starts to show like, okay, I was wrong, and like I've messed up and I've hurt people, but now it's my time to go. And then when that happens, death changes for him in a way that's pleasant and like his like fondest memory, which is when he was a child and his father brought him to the parade when he was a kid. And but it comes through that only like just showing remorse and admitting where you were wrong and all this kind of stuff. It's a really interesting album. And it's super good. It's
That's cool. No, I'll definitely have to listen to it for sure. Like again, I probably heard it a couple times, probably didn't take it in as that, especially being that young. But even that, like, I feel like it was at that age where I was like getting more into like the metalcore, August Burns Red, Devil Wears Prada kind of stuff, a little bit more heavier stuff.
For sure.
Yeah, but no, that's cool. One last question for you. What is in the future for Boi What? Do you have any like massive, like bodacious, like goals that you just want to see this grow into? What do you see for yourself, or what do you want this to be at the end of this?
So I do think about that sometimes, and I am so all over the place.
Of course,
that it's hard for me to really say.
I didn't expect an answer.
Right, like I went from country to metal, like because I wanted to at the time, like at that very moment. So I always tell people like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I know that whatever it is, I'm gonna do it. Like whatever I feel at that time. And my goal right now is to do this album and flesh it out more so and get that going. Who knows, it could stop after the album. I could just like not do it anymore. I'm really not sure. If that's what I want to do, then that's what will happen. But I'm really not sure yet.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. I've always kind of thought of that as well, even in my own stuff. Like, not that I'm going anywhere, but I feel like it just kind of excites me to be more creative, to be more outgoing, to get more influence and stuff like that. I feel that I thought that was kind of what I was going to get from you as well, maybe, but I guess not. But like, you're absolutely right in that answer. It's like, who knows in that sense? It's like, even for me, like I might move out of here and might see a different picture in life for something else. Like, I've changed jobs many times. I've changed careers. I've had very many successful businesses. I used to be a financial advisor, a graphic designer, photographer. Like I've done a lot of fun stuff that has been really creative and fun for me. But even now doing this, it's like, I mean, it's really fun. Like I don't see myself stopping from this. Right. But a lot of this as well, like when I first started, I wanted to start a family with my fiance now. And it's like, I was working grind for like what can I produce for my family and my future kid at that point. And to this point, like I can't do that now. So it sucks. It puts a halt on a lot of my thoughts sometimes. And it's like, you know, what really matters. So I feel like a lot of the curveballs that come in life, really, you can't answer that in a sense.
Right. I guarantee when you were doing the tinting business, you weren't thinking that you would be like this YouTube person, like a YouTube identity that's like reacting and like showing these bands off. Like in a million years, just as I never thought I'd be making what I'm doing now ever.
Never thought I'd be singing about SpongeBob.
Right.
For
exactly.
a living.
Never would I ever think that.
No, dude, it's been great. Thank you so much. I'll kind of wrap it up here, but I just want to say thank you for giving us the time. We've talked for like over 2 hours now. That's crazy. I know. I knew it was going to be a good time. I really wanted to like set up some questions and stuff to kind of like obviously keep people engaged with this. But I feel like people just really needed to know, you know, the real you, what's behind you, why you're doing this. I think it's really cool. The story behind it, I think maybe even a lot of people like myself didn't really know. So it's been a blast talking to you. So I don't know if you want to say what you need to say. If there's other stuff that we missed, by all means, go for it. And definitely give yourself a plug and tell everybody where they can follow you or stream your music.
Yeah, well, dude, first off, thank you for like inviting me to do this. This is probably, at least for the far future, this is probably the only like interview I'm gonna do. So
what? No, don't leave that on me.
I'm sorry, bro, but if people want to, you know, if they want to hear about it, they're gonna have to come to this video. As for like plugs and what I'm gonna be doing, just like it's Boi What on Spotify, Boi What Music on Instagram. I think you just type Boi What, you probably find it. There's just more in the works. There's an album I'm currently working on. I've got another song coming out probably in the next 30 days or something like that. So
shit. Is that the exclusive stuff you wanted to tell me?
Yeah, just that, along with like the fact that there is like an album and a whole concept that's deeper. The next song will start to show more of that. I'm excited for people to see it. Once again, like I say on my live streams, some people probably aren't going to like it, but that's okay. It's just what it is.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, bro, thank you for having me on here. It's been great to talk to you. I'm a big fan. So
thank you. No, I appreciate it. I'm a big fan too. I'm fucking loving what you're doing, man. It's so cool.
Thank you, bro. It's honestly been an honor. So great conversation too.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much, guys. If you're listening on Spotify and all that fun jazz, please go down to the description below. Give him a follow. Go check out his videos. Comment. Go give it another re-listen. Let's re-spark the shit that's going on. He's got some new stuff coming out, obviously, in like a month or so. I'm very excited for that. I mean, is there a collab on that? Or can you tell us? Or...
I'm not going to say either way.
Oh, shit. He's not going to say. That's all right. But anyways, dude, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. All those links are down below for you guys. Thank you so much. Go check out the reactions. Go stream his shit like nonstop. Go see what else he's doing as well. And you said you had your, I guess, solo project called Matthew, right? UE on the end?
UE, yeah.
Yeah, UE on the end. M-A-T-H-E, sorry, U-E, right? UE?
Yep.
Yeah. It's not like the typical style of Matthew,
not at all.
That's all right.
No. Yeah.
No, dude, go check it out. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. Let us know down in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. Go subscribe, all that fun stuff. You can't miss this guy. He's up and coming. He's going to be fucking smashing some shit out. I'm very excited for him. So thank you so much. Toodaloo, motherfuckers.
Thank you, bro.